Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Friday night. It is September 20th, and I'm your host, Vincent DiSanti, here for the Ghost Files Live. Let's get some things set up in the background real quick. Boom, boom, bing, bing, all the things going on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 30. We're keeping it pretty consistent. Obviously, I wasn't here last week for Friday the 13th. I was in Colorado. But I'm back this week with reports of how fun that trip was. Also, some updates on the Never Hike Alone Final Cut Kickstarter, the Never Hike Alone 2 Indiegogo campaign, and lots of other things that are going around the horror world. But before I do get into all that stuff, let's talk about subscribing to the channel below, liking this comment, and then in the comments section or the description section, which I'm sure Undead will post in a moment in the comments, we are running Never Hike Alone, the Final Cut campaign. So if you're going to do any super chats tonight or you want to donate some money, that's cool. But I'd rather have you go over to the Never Hike Alone, the Final Cut, which just crossed 50% in just under a week on the campaign trail. So go over there, support the campaign if you haven't already. If you got any questions about the campaign, obviously throw it in the chat tonight. Super chats obviously help you. Help me see your question a little bit easier. And I'm sure everyone will be popping off in the chat, so I'll try to keep up with you real quick there. Just one thing before I get started tonight on the Ghost Files. Literally like 5-6 minutes ago, I got a text from a friend of mine who notified me that an independent producer by the name of Rob Jasinski passed away a few days ago, which is a shock to all of us. I met Rob this year at the Chicago Horror Film Festival, where we became fast friends. He was a big champion of Never Hike Alone 2 and everything that we were doing. And I have him to thank for getting me involved with a few projects this summer, which you'll be learning about more next year. But I don't want to get too into it, but Rob did have his struggles with mental health. He was working on some things. And unfortunately, it sounds like he ended up taking his own life in the last few days, which is very sad to hear. So before I get started, and sorry to start on such a down note, but I think it's important to say that if you have friends that struggle with mental struggles or, with mental health and struggle with mental health is what I should say, make sure you check in with them from time to time, and whatever you're doing in life, no matter how hard it is, just know that there's always people out there to help you and to support you, and that people are here for you in your life. So I just want to say thanks to Rob for everything that he did for me since meeting him in a very short time. I mean, he's a very electric person. I was very grateful for the opportunities that he allowed for me, and I'm just very, very sad for his family, and I just wish them all the best. Just very, very rough news to hear. I was planning on, reaching out to him this weekend about other stuff that, we had planned to do. But obviously there are things in life that more important than film and all of those things. So I just wanted to wish his family the best. And just remind everyone out there, if you have anyone in your life that is struggling with mental health, do reach out to them, do check in on them. So with that said, let's get into some of the things that are going on. Let's cheer things up. Let me jump into the comments real quick. We had a lot of people here. Gap After Dark jumping in is one of the first comments backing the Never Hike Alone Final Cut campaign. Thank you for that backing. Anthony's here. Anthony was up my butt all weekend in Colorado. Just messing with you, Anthony. But quite literally, walking around supporting Ghost Jason costume for 2 days. I was literally in costume for like 30 minutes each day. I don't know how he walked around for like 6 hours. He was literally sweating out of his mask, which was awesome. But he had a perfect rebuild of the Ghost Jason costume. He had the CFX stuff. He had the horror effects design mask. He was out there looking great. Him and his wife Kate came and supported the table, which was really great. So it was good to see you. Lamontre's in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. How's your project going? You got to email me and let me know how you're doing. Sam Haynes got a great point. Speaking of conventions, I bought my ticket for Crystal Lake Nightmares next August. Here's to hoping it will be worth it. We were just contacted by Crystal Lake Nightmares, and it sounds like Never Hike Alone, the Final Cut, will be playing at next year's Crystal Lake Nightmares event. We're in the process of setting that up. James Sweet will be there. I will be there. We are definitely going to be there. We're definitely not going to miss this out. Also, just an odd detail that I found out. I guess Sean Cunningham is one of the people behind this convention. So very interesting, considering that Sean usually doesn't give a crap about the franchise. To see him putting this on is sort of an interesting take for me. So I'd like to hear more about this, and hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to him about it next year. But we'll jump into that another time. Mitch is in the chat. He's just dropping some quotes. When the woods go silent around, go back the way you came. That makes sense. I could see that happening. Momo's in the chat with a little beak. Jacob Thompson, one of the backers from the Final Cut campaign, also an associate producer, or maybe even a co-producer from Never Hike Alone 2. Actually, I think he's a co-producer of Never Hike Alone 2. And he backed the Never Hike Alone Final Cut campaign. I also know that he got himself the Ghost Jason decapitated bust, which is awesome. I'm so glad that is landing in the hands of a fan. Jacob, who is an amazing cosplayer himself, costume builder, glad that he's going to be taking care of that for us. We'll make sure we get that set up for you. We'll probably ship it earlier than later, as long as we hit our goal, obviously. Let's see who else is in here. Steve DMV's in this week. What's up, my brother? Gregory Peck, my boy. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Of course, Alley Girl, always here, constant, straight constant. Let's see. Undead is in the chat. Here we go. Undead here. He's our this is our moderator. Make sure if you got any questions, just send Undead a chat. I'm sure he'll be posting the links and everything in the comments section for Kickstarter, all that fun stuff. So keep an eye out for that. And like I said, the Kickstarter link is in the description of this video as well. I saw, where is he? I know he's in here. I know he's in here. I know I already got Mitch, but here he is. Bam. Robert the Wolfman. What's up, buddy? Good to see you out there. Always here. Another constant. Love it having you guys. Alex Bacon, stoked for the Jarvis vs. Jason limited edition Blu-ray. Me too. We're making some progress on that. I'll get into that in a little bit. There it is. Undead's got that link. It's in there. Greg already with the super chat, $2. Let's see. Jumping in. Appreciate all the comments, everybody. I'm not trying to mine anything for that, but just bam, here he is. Honestly, I'm so excited for what's to come with this campaign, and the last one's going to be like a bomb of merch arriving at our door. That is very true. I am going to hit you with a giant bomb of merch. That is for sure. So this is great. Cool. So we're up and running. I believe I have everything as I need it in the background. That's good. Bam, good. All right, so what's been going on here at Womp Stomp Films Land? Let's start with the Never Hike Alone 2 update. So we just got the most recent export of Never Hike Alone 2, which has the fixed backer credits. So misspelled a few names, a couple names dropped out. It happens. Sorry again to everybody, but there's a new version. If you're a backer of Never Hike Alone 2, you should have received your digital rewards. And if you go to the Never Hike Alone 2 download for the Vimeo file, if you were one of the people whose name was either left out or misspelled, or you were looking for something to be changed, you can now download a new version of the film, which will have all those fixes installed. Now, it's not just good for the download section. This also means a great update for our Blu-rays. This is one of the critical things, or the most critical thing, that we needed to do in order to complete the Never Hike Alone Blu-rays. So now we can go ahead with submitting our files and doing all that fun stuff. I've been in contact with disc makers. We've been going back and forth on, excuse me, file format, what we can put on there, what we can't put on there. So I'm just adjusting some of the settings and all that stuff. So we're in the process of putting that together. We have to send them a hard drive in order for that to work properly. So we'll be working on that over the next week. But this is such a huge, crucial step. And I'm so happy. Thank you, Rob Vorncall, for stepping in and taking care of the edits that needed to be made and doing all the exports and handling all that stuff. For those of you who don't know, Rob is our longtime online editor. He's also a director himself and head of Collage Montage, which he runs with his beautiful wife, Danielle, who was also a production designer on Never Hike Alone 2 before she had to leave to go do a TV show in New York. But in the meantime, Rob took care of all those fixes for us. He also has a film coming out very soon called Fragment, which you could see around the world at different film festivals, and hopefully getting distribution pretty soon, I was a first AD and producer on that film. So definitely gonna have to check that out. If you're following the Womp Stomp Films social media channels, you should see us posting updates from the Fragment page. So make sure you check the Fragment page and check out what they're going on. They have lots of, they're hitting up lots of festivals this year. So if you get a chance, definitely check that out in a big screen. It's very cool, ethereal. It's like Hellraiser meets The Matrix. It's really, really cool. Where else was I? So that was Never Hike Alone 2. What else on Never Hike Alone 2? So having that means also I can send some files to our tapeworm video to get the VHS tapes made. I did another update today about mask and weapons. So Jeremy at Horror Effects Designs is working on that stuff right now. I didn't want to get this into the, the update that I had on Indiegogo because it's just too much to talk about. And I don't want to fill the Indiegogo with all the hurdles that I have. That's what the Ghost Files is for, because it's easy for me to just word vomit it out versus type a big long paragraph to explain why things took so long. So with the masks, I was waiting for a certain kind of section of money to come back to the project. So as a SAG production, we actually had to deliver a deposit to SAG. Get this. So in order to be a SAG production, you have to take a chunk of your budget. You have to give it to SAG for them to hold on to. Then you need to go make your movie, and you need to pay the actors with the money that not with the money you sent them, but with more money in your budget while they hang on to your money. And then once all the actors are paid, they send you your money back. Well, there's also certain processes where you have to hand in certain files and certain things have to be cleared and all that stuff. So we went through a bunch of hurdles to get our money back. It took forever. We finally got our money back, I want to say a few months ago. But in the process of doing that, once I got that money back, I approached Jeremy and said, hey, man, I finally have the money for the mask that I was going to, the money that I had sanctioned off for the mask that I wanted to put in. Where are we at with sort of where I can put orders in? Jeremy also happens to be very busy. Horror Effects Design is one of the most popular cosplay and weapons and all that stuff for cosplayers. He's constantly busy, so we had to work into his schedule. He is finishing up his Halloween orders through the month of September, and then sometime mid-October, late October, he's going to start working on more of the specific Never Hike Alone perks. So if you were a backer who got a mask or you got one of the replica weapons, those items are probably going to be coming later on this year, if not early next year. But I'm not going to make you wait for the weapon or the mask in order to get your Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray. As soon as the Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray comes in, those are the main things that we're concerned about as far as like making sure those things get out and shipped right away. So if you have a Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray and a couple other items and a Ghost Hawk, well, we're going to ship all your other items first. The Ghost Hawks will come in later. We have to sign them. I have to bring them out to Tom. He has to sign them as well. We're going to have a couple people kind of put their signatures on them. And then we'll get them out to the backers. As soon as they come in, those sort of, as they land, we'll get them signed and we'll send them out and we'll take care of all those things. So if you're worried about that stuff, then I would say that's the update on that. Everything else is in stock. If you got your Never Hike Alone 2 update, you'll see that I posted a picture from the warehouse where I'll be shipping everything from. The posters are all laid out. The legacy Blu-rays are out. The legacy VHSs are out. I got the back stock of all the props and weapons and all those things that we took from set. Pins, stickers, shirts, all that stuff is all sort of getting laid out. Sort of just trying to get finished with one thing before I move on to the next and start doing some of the early shipments. So if all you backed for the campaign was getting a poster or a pin or some stickers or something like that, expect an email in the next few weeks from us with your item shipping. I'm going to start focusing on shipping once I get our hard drive sent out for the Never Hike Alone Blu-ray material. With the Never Hike Alone Blu-rays, with the Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-rays figured out, let's talk about Never Hike Alone, the final cut, which means that I am going to do a quick little screen share. Not my email, but we're going to go to here. Let me see. I'm still in there. Good. I just wanted to check. So look at this. I mean, you just watched it go up before your eyes. 274 backers have raised $25,917. That is over 50% of goal number one, which is fantastic news because we have 41 days left. This campaign goes all the way until October 31st, Halloween. We figure 6 weeks, plenty of time to raise not just $50,000, but we are trying to get to the $100,000 limit because we want to include Never Hike. Not Never Hike Alone. Ghost in the Fog, Friday the 13th fan film, which would be a 7-minute animated Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees short film, which stars, which is the story about 3 people. They get lost in a fog, wander into Camp Crystal Lake, and then get systematically murdered by Jason Voorhees in animation, which we think that that's a pretty cool thing. What's nice is that our goal with this campaign is to at least hit that $50,000 mark. Once we hit that $50,000 mark, that means that the campaign is successful and we will get our funding. We have signed up on Kickstarter to go into late backing. So just like Indiegogo, where we would do the extended campaigns, Kickstarter, we're going to kick in our extended Kickstarter campaign, which will stay open throughout the entire production so people can come in late, secure Blu-rays, all of those things. And we're hoping that if we don't get to 100% funding for for Ghost in the Fog, that we can at least attain that over time, or at least animate part of it to put on the Blu-ray and then maybe get done for next year. Now, one little update that I should update everybody on Never Hike Alone, the final cut, is in a lot of the perks. I think I put March or April of next year as the when we think we're going to start fulfilling things. That's a big maybe now. What I was thinking is that next June is Jason's 79th birthday, and that seems to be like the best target for us to aim getting the film done, getting that put online, and start sending out Blu-rays. So maybe we can get them sent out a little bit before Friday the 13th next year, before we go there. But we want to give our post-production team enough time to go through, cut the film, really, fall in love with the cut. It gives us time to maybe go out and do some pickups and do some things that we hadn't done before. Two things in specific. I really, really want to do the full shovel commercial, which is written. These are things that are written that were supposed to be in Never Hike Alone 2 that actually never made it in. And if we make buku bucks, I'll go back and reshoot parts of Never Hike in the Snow too, about a missing scene that we never got from there either. The scene where he comes back, finds the cop car, and then wanders into Camp Crystal Lake. To go, Tommy looks for him. There's the shovel commercial, and then there's the massacre scene, which we never got to film. So if we raise between $150,000 and $200,000, I will entertain going back and adding more footage to Never Hike Alone, the final cut, and making it an even longer movie. But right now, the real goal is getting into Never Hike Alone, the Ghost in the Fog, so we can get that on the Never Hike Alone final cut Blu-ray. This is something I've looked forward to for a very long time. And if you support this animated feature, or not this animated feature, but this animated short, that opens the door for us to go into other animated shorts. Like we could do The Ghost of Crystal Lake, the prequel. We could do Pamela's story in animation. I don't think we do Never Hike Alone 3 in animation. That's one we want to do in live action, but that's not going to happen for a while. But if Never Hike Alone projects are going to happen in the meantime, they're going to be focused towards the animated side, while I can focus on other original live action projects. Let me see. What else is going on in the world of Womp Stomp? Oh, let's talk about the last week. I hope everyone had a wonderful Friday the 13th. I'm pulling comments back up. So I've missed a lot of comments in the last few minutes, so apologies. I'm also hoping that ads are slowed down this week, because I had them automatically put in, which means I haven't put them in, and I haven't kind of put them there. Actually, hang on. I'm back. I haven't put anything, manually in. So hopefully you're not getting as many breaks this week as well. So if you are, let me know. Yeah, Jacob, Never Hike Alone 3. That is a thing. So there is all that. Oh yeah, I wanted to get into, hope everyone had a good Friday the 13th. I had a great Friday the 13th. I spent it in Colorado, in Denver, at the Colorado Festival of Horror, thanks to Brett Smith and his team over at the Colorado Festival of Horror. We were at the Marriott in Lone Tree, Denver, which is like southeast. We were kind of out there. I was with Tom Matthews, Tom McLaughlin, Adrian King was there, Amy Steele was there, James Sweet from Jason Rising, as you saw in our previous episode of Ghost Files. We were both there. We had a wonderful weekend. It was great running into different fans. I saw Christina. I met a few other people along the way. Steve Titzler was there, all backers of the Never Hike Alone campaigns. And Christina has been a fan ever since we met at the first Telluride when Never Hike Alone debuted. So definitely a lifelong fan there. So it's good to run into people that we know and hang out with some of the other alumni. Obviously, catching up with the two Toms was great, and Adrian and Amy as well. I know James is very excited about hopefully getting Jason Rising 2 off the ground, which would be really, really cool. So we had a chance to talk to Adrian and Amy. We also got some pretty cool details on the Crystal Lake TV show that never happened. I can't say anything right now, but maybe down the line we'll reveal some of those details about what Adrian was supposed to be playing and some of those fun things. But I don't want to steal her thunder. But you can ask her next time you see her at a convention. Definitely check in with her, because it was pretty cool. And it's unfortunate that they moved on from Brian's vision. Let's talk about Friday the 13th for a moment. The TV show Crystal Lake. Last week, it was reported that at Silver Screen Con, Sean Cunningham announced that the plan was that Crystal Lake was going to debut in Halloween of 2025, and they were going to film in Australia this winter. all I will say to fans is take that with a huge grain of salt, because everyone that I've ever talked to who's actually associated with the TV show says that Sean and Victor have nothing to do with the TV show. They are basically outliers in this whole project, and Friday the 13th is now being run by Mark Toberoff and Robert Barsimian through Horror Inc. and Victor Miller's company, which took over Friday the 13th through the rights. So anything you hear from Sean is sort of out of spite, because he is very spiteful for the way that the lawsuit came out, and Victor is so detached from it, it's not even funny. I actually happened to be on a Friday the 13th stream with Victor last week, which was incredibly crazy to me. I didn't even realize that he was going to be on it, but I got to do a stream with him, and he mentioned during the stream that he really just doesn't know what's going on. And he's mentioned to other alumni that he doesn't know much of what's going on. He's just waiting for something to get made so he can cash his checks. So, good for us Friday the 13th fans waiting all these years. So, two people who aren't really in the mix anymore are making all these decisions. So just keep an eye out for different announcements as they come out, and only listen to things that are coming from A24 specifically, because they are the ones with the actual information. As far as last time I knew, this production was being set up in Canada. It was supposed to shoot in Toronto. They already had their locations picked out, and that was a whole thing in and of itself. I don't know if they've changed the idea to go shoot in Australia. Obviously, they can't shoot this year in Toronto because they'd be in the winter. They'd have to wait till next spring. But if you asked me, you could shoot next spring and have the film ready by, or not the film, but the TV show ready by October 2025. That's just the way it is. When I worked on The Rookie, we were literally 8 episodes deep filming when we were releasing episode 1, or even less than that. So while episode 8 was being released, we were filming episode 16. You know what I mean? So that's the way it sort of works in TV. So they definitely have, all spring and summer to shoot. I don't know if there's a rush to get out to Australia and shoot it. Shooting in Australia seems sort of sacrilegious to me. Where in Australia does it look like, mid-Atlantic New England, horror camp? You know what I mean? That just doesn't seem like the aesthetic is going to be right. And I feel like we're going to get a little bit of that 2009, we shot this thing in Texas and it looks nothing like the Camp Crystal Lake we ever knew sort of vibe. So we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But I just wanted to let Friday the 13th fans know that someone who is keeping a very close eye and ear to the ground, sites like Bloody Disgusting and, everyone else who needs to get a headline and throw it out there and get clickbait to get views on their site. Of course, they're going to share this. And of course, with Sean saying it, there's an amount of credibility. I'm sure he's keeping his ear to the ground on what's going on. But from what I heard, Sean has explicitly said that he is doing everything that he can to make sure that no new Friday the 13th content happens. He has made his money. He has made his film, and he does not want anyone else to profit off of the franchise. So I don't trust him. I don't trust him. I respect him. Don't get me wrong. Me saying this is not me trying to shit on Sean Cunningham. Sean Cunningham created Friday the 13th. If it wasn't for him taking out that ad in Variety, we wouldn't have anything. He's the one who got the money from the Barsimians in the first place. He's the one who directed and produced the first movie. Obviously, Victor wrote the first movie, and without him, we wouldn't have the characters we have today. But without Victor and Sean, you put them aside, where is the franchise without Steve Miner? Where is the franchise without Joe Zito? Without all the contributions by all of the other directors adding to the story, Tom McLaughlin, John Carl Buechler, the list goes on and on. Think about what Richard Brooker brought to it, with Ted White, Tom Morga, Kane Hodder, all these people who kept Friday the 13th alive over the years. The franchise does not owe it to just these 2 people or 1 person for its success. It owes it to all of these people that had all of this influence on it. Tom Savini. How about Carl Fulton, the one who came up with the idea to give Jason the hockey mask in the first place, and then Steve Miner approving that? Guess what? Sean was nowhere near set when that decision was made. It was the Mancuso family making those decisions. So to me, as much respect as I have for, Sean for creating the franchise and Victor for writing the first script and really setting the tent pole and sort of setting the franchise off on its thing, there has to be a form of just coming to earth with all of this and realizing that this is the sum of a lot of parts and not because of 2 people. And for someone to hold up more films to be made so other people don't make money is such a selfish act. And it's just tough to get behind that. And I was on that call with Victor. I respect the hell out of him. I was able to pick his brain about a few things, which was really cool. But why he had to sue to get the rights and send this thing into a tailspin, I don't know. Why Sean couldn't just make a deal with his friend, which is ultimately what he should have done 40 years ago, and just said, hey man, let me cut you in on this. Obviously I couldn't have made this film unless I sent you off to go write the script, but that's Hollywood and that's money. And that's how things, business and friendships don't really last very long. Can't say that I'm the best at keeping that all straight either. But at the same time, it's just very unfortunate for Friday the 13th fans at this time. Still no official updates from A24 about what's going on with the Crystal Lake TV series, but I can assure you, the minute there is an update, we'll be talking about it here. We'd love to have people on and discuss it. Hopefully we can bring on other alumni, maybe talking about it a little bit there too. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get that out there because I got to say, it really just chaps my ass when I see, all of the horror blogs and all the horror media sites out there sharing stuff like, oh, Sean says this and blah, blah, blah. And like, they all know, they all know the same people I do. They all talk to the same people I do, that they know that he's out of the loop. And so when they're sharing that stuff, they are literally just clickbaiting you. And that just, to see Friday the 13th literally reduced to this laughing stock clickbait that it's become, and then have people dismiss the fan film side of this stuff, it just really pisses me off, because it is incredibly infuriating. The fact that the fans treat this series with more respect than the people who created it do. I think a lot of people just need to grow up and get over it, get together, get in a room, sign some contracts, and get some shit made. We don't just want a TV show. We want movies. We want animation. We want more stuff. We want new Jasons. We want video games. I was talking to Jason Parker, online about it. He runs Friday the 13th franchise.com. We've had him on as a guest in the past. He was like, oh, they're supposed to be, announcing the video game stuff soon. Well, Friday the 13th was last week. What the fuck? How do you miss that date? Like, I'm busy. I'm doing 15 million things, and I still managed to get a Kickstarter up and running for Friday the 13th while I was traveling to Colorado and balancing a previous crowdfund and trying to produce like 4 or 5 different movies on the side. I got all that going on, and the Jason universe can't get its shit together enough to come up with an announcement on Friday the 13th. But no, the multiverse game handed out a bunch of hockey masks to all its other characters that are on that game that no one plays. I'm sorry, but I don't know anyone who plays Warner Brothers Multiverse. You're not doing a lot for the Friday the 13th franchise Jason universe, and I wish you would try a little bit harder. And December 13th, which is the next Friday the 13th, is not a great holiday to announce anything. That's dead season. That is Christmas season. You're not going to get a lot of traction unless you're announcing a Friday the 13th film based in the snow. So now you're going to miss that deadline, and you're going to fly past that, and we're going to have to wait till June next year to hear any sort of updates. That's ridiculous. There's just so much that they could do now, and they're not doing it. And as a fan, and I'm a passionate fan, I'm kind of upset about it. And I think a lot of people are too. And I'm just venting that frustration out to you right now, and I hope you don't mind. But it is very silly to me that we don't have new Friday the 13th content right now. If I was in charge of the franchise, you'd already have stuff launching this year, and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. Sorry, I got my Godzilla Kong cup this week for the water. I'm also drinking a little bit of wine that we had left over from our trip because it has been a long week. Oh yeah, so get this. So Colorado was awesome. Mo and I decided to take a little detour on the way home and go to Austin, Texas. My first time to Austin, Texas. Had a great time. We were visiting some friends. We were only there for 2 days. It was like 95 degrees out both days, but Austin is a beautiful city. And I had a great time. I hope to come back soon. I took some really cool pictures down there. I'll post them on my private Instagram for anyone who's following me there. But last night when we got back, we flew back into Boston. We landed around 11 p.m. I just got done watching the Patriots get their ass kicked on live TV on the plane. And then it proceeded to take us 3 hours to get home because they are doing construction on Route 93 to get out of Logan Airport. So I didn't get home till 2 a.m. last night. I had to get up for a doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. this morning. And then I just been working all day. and I didn't know whether or not I was going to be doing this tonight. But by the time I got done doing my updates for Indiegogo and Final Cut, oh shit, just bumped that. And doing all that stuff, I figured, why not? Let's get a thumbnail going and let's do the damn thing. So I'm glad you're all here tonight with me and hanging out. Oh, I see Adam Stout's in there. What's up, brother? Resolute Blood. Eric, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. It chaps my ass and chafes my nipples. It's great. Been getting a couple, got a couple runs in while I was out there too, but I've been mostly doing treadmill. Let me see. Boop, boop, boop. Just skipping through some chat stuff. Don't forget the link to the Kickstarter. The Final Cut Kickstarter is in the not the comment section. I keep saying comment section, but the bio or whatever below the video. So check that out if you haven't already. The other thing I would like to implore people to do, if you can this week, please, all 30 people that are in this chat right now, take that link and share it on your own social media this week, if you don't mind. Even if you can't back the campaign yourself, any help that you can to spread the campaign around the internet is going to be super helpful. We all know that a certain property is going to be spamming the shit out of our feeds for the next couple of weeks. And unless you have a certain word and people blocked on your social media like I do, let's try to slip some Never Hike Alone stuff in between all the stuff that we're going to have to listen to for the next 3 years because it just feels like it's never going to end. So that's going on. What else is happening? Oh, I want to give a shout out to a filmmaker, Anthony Cousins. If you haven't already, he has this wonderful found footage film called Frogman, which I actually got whiff of. Oh, look at this. Look at that. It's even got the silver thing. That's so great. We picked up this VHS last week at Colorado Festival of Horror. Anthony, I believe his wife or his girlfriend, who's also the producer on the film and plays Frogman, was there with him as well, with a few other people from the project. I believe this is streaming on VOD. You can also get a Blu-ray of it. We picked up the VHS because it's a found footage film filmed on high 8, which is really, really cool. But some of the effects in this thing, Anthony's done work on Scare Package 1 and 2. So I just want to give him a quick shout out. We had a great chat while we were there, and I just wanted to promote some other brands as well. So if you haven't seen Frogman yet, I don't know if you're like me and growing up, you saw VHS on the shelf when you were renting films called Frogs, starring Sam Elliott, I believe. And you were like, fuck yeah, this is going to be some frogs eating people, and I got to see this. And then you rented it, and then it was frogs croaking people to death, which I've said this multiple times. Frogs is definitely the worst movie maybe ever made in the entire fucking world. This redeems it. Finally, some real frog horror action, which is what I was going for. They hit it out of the park with this. It's a wild movie. You definitely have to check it out. Definitely make sure you check that out on streaming. I wish I did some research on where you could exactly find it, but if you just type in Frogman, it pops up, and I know you're all smart. You can do a little bit of research on yourself, and I'm sure you can get that going. Let me see. What else? Greg, you don't have to lose all respect for Mr. Cunningham. He did create the franchise. He is a nice dude. I have met Sean multiple times. I just want a chance to vet how I feel, but I've met Sean multiple times. He's an incredibly nice person. I've been to his house. The dude has like 5,000 pugs. He also let me ride his hoverboards around his tennis court. And that whole time, he never knew what Never Hike Alone was, the 4 or 5 times I've met him. But he is a really nice dude. When, you're not talking about Friday the 13th or dealing with Friday the 13th stuff. I've seen, he runs a director's workshop out of his house. He is a film lover. He does love film. He does have the right heart in the right places. But like I said, when it comes to Friday the 13th, there's just a lot of bad blood there. It's just too bad that the fans have to bear the burden. Let's see what Mardina says. I didn't even read this yet. They did a Friday the 13th fan film episode on the movie timelines change. The last 3 movies were NHA, Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, NHA 2. They got some of the details wrong, but it was positive. Oh, I have to change this. Mardina, could you put a link to that in the chat, or could you email me a link to this at wompstompfilms@gmail.com? I would love to check this out. Always love when people have something to say about the shows. Doing what we can with the fan films. Adam found Frogman on Prime. So yes, it is available on Prime. Like I said, this is a found footage film, so it's straight up found footage. They shot this thing with a high 8 camera. But it works. It works. It's cool. They got some really, really cool stuff in there. Let me see what else. Movie timelines channel. Oh, okay. Now I know what you're saying. Shout out to all this stuff back here. Some of the stuff being worked on. I actually found, while I was cleaning out some stuff, I found my Funko Pop that Topher did for me, Topher Westcott. Pretty cool, right? Bam. So we got him going. Again, once again, shout out to Kaiden Ritchie. Kaiden just sent me 3 more of these bad boys for people on the campaign, for the last campaign, so those are completed. Sounds like I'm going to have to get a new 3D artist to get these made because the person who said that they had them already printed ended up lying to me. So we're going to get, I'm going to have Cody scan these and we're going to get these out to you guys. I know that you wanted this, Anthony, but I did drop him on his head. So he did get a little crack. So unfortunately, you know, I just don't know how much that's worth really anymore for you to want to take. But we can talk about it. You can email me about it offline. Let me see. I'm going to jump into the chat. What year did Frogman come out? I think it came out either this year or last year. I know I saw it at Telluride Horror Show last year. And it quickly got released after that. So definitely check it out now. Let me see what else we got going on. Let's jump to, you know, any comments in the channel. Oh, no, I actually did have some show and tell for you guys tonight. I don't know if I've showed you guys this stuff before, but we're going to do a little Ghost in the Fog show and tell because I just want you guys to really back this shit because I can't tell you how awesome this is going to be. So, as you know, Ghost in the Fog. Ooh, hang on a second. Boop. There we go. Brand. I can't see your comments right now, so we're gonna have to wait. So Ghost in the Fog, obviously of the animated Friday the 13th fan film that we're working on. I want to show you guys some cool stuff, some cool updates. So here's the updated character looks. Brandon, the guy in the middle, the white dude, he is actually based on a backer, Brandon. I wish I remembered his last name. I could probably look it up real quick. Brandon. There's 25 Brandons. Not that Brandon. Not that Brandon. I think it was a Brandon C, right? Boop, 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 boop. Oh, it might be Brandon Robinson. Anyway, he's a big Orioles fan. And in fact, the character didn't originally have a hat, and we actually put a hat on him because every picture that Brandon sent to us, he had a hat on. So for those of you who don't know, on the campaign right now, the character to his left, who's currently named Dom, and the character to his right, which is currently named Bree, they are both up for a redesign. So depending on how comfortable you are either getting something changed around where you can get something for, if you're a female and you want the female to look like you, we can do that. If you want Dom to look like you, we can do that. We can actually model the character's face after yours and his clothing or her clothing or whatever you want to do. We can make those changes if you come in at an executive producer perk on the Final Cut Blu-ray campaign. So obviously we need to get to 100K for this to happen. But if you, no matter where you select, we will redesign the character to fit you, and you will get artwork that reflects that at least. We're also doing missing persons posters. So someone had asked about how the missing person posters are going to work. And all I will say is that at the end of the movie, we kind of cut to a billboard that's in the middle of the forest with a bunch of missing person posters on it. We do a pullout. So everyone's going to be on that board. And then as we do the credits, we're going to scan over and do different shots of the missing persons posters. And then we'll send you a digital copy of your missing person poster. So you can either hang it on your wall or, you know, we can talk about maybe printing them out or something. But those missing persons posters will be caricatures of you. So it's not going to be a photo of you. It's going to be animated photo of you. So it'll be pretty cool. I think that that's a really cool perk or reward to get back. So if you haven't checked in on that, I would say definitely do that. So let's take a look at some of the other stuff that we got going on here. Here's some of the model sheets. So these are model sheets just to kind of test the character's animation and how they're going to look when they're doing certain things. Let's start with Ghost Jason, obviously the favorite. Um, Mako took a redesign to all of this not too long ago. So Ghost Jason's in the middle of a big redesign. In fact, I saw an even newer design than this, where they're just working on the body shape and the way it's balanced and things like that. We're doing walk cycle tests, which hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be able to share some of these tests with you, which will be really cool. Let me see if I can jump back into the comments, see if anybody's asking any question. Frogs was the greatest film I've ever seen. Shut up, Anthony. No way. Yeah, so Jacob's got the missing person. Tom Matthews is going to do a voiceover for Ghost in the Fog, so he'll definitely be in that. Okay, cool. So I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So we got that. So this is, obviously Jason, some different things of what he's doing. I'm just looking around. Both of those weapons are used in the film. For sure. He kills people with each one of those weapons. So, and they're both kills are really, really cool. So you got that. Meet Brandon. So like I said, Brandon is based on an actual backer from the previous campaign. And if you back the previous campaign and had a missing persons poster for Ghost in the Fog for that campaign, we're honoring that will transfer over and you will be put on there. So there's already about 8 or 9 people that are already got a missing persons poster. We're just looking to add on top of that and have some fun. So this is Brandon. He's sort of the leader of the group. He's the one who sort of got them lost. I voiced this character. So Brandon is voiced by me, which is really, really cool. We're actually recasting Bree right now. And this is Bree. We actually did a little bit of a redesign on her. You can't really see what she's going on here, but Bree is I don't want to spoil anything, but she's our classic final girl. She is the one who is trying to get away at the end. She's calm, cool, collected, funny. And she's got a little bit of an attitude. So we really like Bree. Her design really, really came together. Her shirt was actually inspired by, I'm forgetting the character's name, Vicky, maybe in part 2. But we went with the triangle halter top instead of a traditional t-shirt. And this is my guy, Dom, who will be voiced by Diego Valenzuela, who is a very good Spanish and English voice actor. He's done work, I believe, in like the Metal Gear Solid series and a bunch of gaming stuff. He's been on a bunch of cartoons. But Dom is our resident tough guy. He is the most apt to take on and fight Jason. So you're definitely going to want to check this out. He's our muscular dude. So if you ever wanted to be a muscular Latin American awesome dude, you can become Dom or you become Bree. And here's another little quick sneak peek. Part of the film has a map of Camp Crystal Lake in it. We show you the map of Camp Crystal Lake. It's actually a prop. I figured it'd be cool to show that prop. So let's take a look at it. So for those of you who have seen Never Hike Alone, obviously most of you, this is based on how I feel the different camps that we shoot at all come together. Obviously we have the entrance, which is up above. You can kind of see where the archery range was, where some of the main cabins are, Never Hike Alone 2. And then as you get deeper into the camp, we have our cabins that lead up to our main cabin from Never Hike Alone 1. You see where the dock is from Never Hike Alone 2, where Tom has his dream, and, the beaches at the end of the movie, and how sort of the camp sort of sits in this little alcove of the lake. And I thought this was a pretty cool thing to share. This will actually be something that is in the movie as one of the props, and I really hope you enjoy that. And then Anthony was saying we should probably get a pin of this guy made. I know I'm jumping to something completely different and completely off topic, but this is actually an image that I've had for, I want to say 7 or 8 years. Somebody sent this to me after the first Never Hike Alone, and I'm totally down to do this little miniature. It looks like a little Mega Man. But I'll talk to the guys at Terra Creative Pins and see if they can come up with something for me here. So anyway, that is our show and tell for this evening. Let me go back to here. Let me jump back in here. Nope, this one. There we go. Yeah, I like having like the little border. It's kind of nice, right? So let me jump back into the comments here. What do you guys think about the designs? What do you guys think about Ghost in the Fog in general? Do you have any questions? Cutest map ever. Thank you. Maybe one of the things we can do is we can print the map up. You know what I mean? We can do like a little like laminated map that you can get of the camp. That would be pretty cool, right? Will Kyle make an appearance in Ghost in the Fog? No, he will not. This is supposed to take years before Kyle ever gets to the camp. So Kyle will not be making any appearances. But if you want to see more of Kyle, we will film the entire shovel commercial if we can exceed our $100,000 goal and get like the shovel commercial. I can probably do for like a couple thousand, only because I'm gonna have to fly out to LA with a bunch of stuff and like set the day up and get up there with Andrew. So if we can get the plane tickets and some stuff to just keep me alive out there, we may be able to do that if we can hit the other two goals. So and hopefully do that. Jacob's gonna draw some fan art. I love it. Thank you for the comments on there, Mitch. Let me see. What's the difference between a legacy Blu-ray and a Final Cut Blu-ray on the Kickstarter? Great question. So a legacy Blu-ray is something that I've been calling any Blu-ray that is from a previous campaign. It's the legacy Blu-ray. It's Never Hike Alone. It's Never Hike in the Snow. It's Never Hike Alone, the Ghost Cut. And now actually for this campaign, it's Never Hike Alone 2. So for those of you who didn't back anything on Never Hike Alone 2 or maybe missed out, this is your chance to like make up for the entire franchise that you may have missed. The Final Cut is all of those films cut into one seamless film. The only thing is that there's a high probability, or there's 1,000% probability that parts of the previous films are going to get cut out. Most notably, title sequences. We're not doing 4 or 5 title sequences like we did in the Ghost Cut. We're only doing one title sequence that's going to basically be disappear, cut into a title sequence. And if I get my druthers and get to do everything that I want, what I want to do is orchestrate disappear and do a brand new recording of it and have this as this brand new introduction that leads you into the world of Never Hike Alone with a voiceover by Tom Matthews over it. And then it cuts into the movie and we watch the movie front to back, one fell swoop. There's no stopping. There's no, we're not just hard stopping one movie and going to another movie. We may do like 3 months later or 3 months prior or stuff like that, just because we know how the time jumps around for the film. But we wanted to do something that was a little bit more of a unique sit down watch through. And so that's what the Final Cut is. And if we, like I said, if we raise more money, we'll be able to go back in and maybe do an extended edition where we're able to, add that shovel scene, or maybe we'll be able to go in and do, if we raise $150,000 to $160,000 and we're sitting good with money, and I think the production's like staying on budget, I can contact my friends at Dead Meat. They had already agreed to do this last year. And I'd love to bring them back to do it actually for this year, but it was too late in Never Hike Alone 2 for us to go out and film the massacre scene. But I wrote basically this campground massacre scene where Zoran and James have sort of two opposite facing campsites, and they're annoying each other. And then Jason gets in the middle of it, kills everybody, kills somebody else, and then heads out back into the forest to walk back towards the hospital. So in Never Hike Alone 2, if you remember the scene where it pans down in the tree and Jason walks by as the truck goes in the opposite direction, that's where that scene goes. And if we can raise the money to go out there and add 5 more kills to the film, that would be a lot of fun and really give an incentive for the Final Cut to be like a must watch to see brand new footage. So adding the shovel commercial and adding that scene would be a really big wish list item for me. And if we can make that happen, that would be great. The map reminds me of NES, the game, 1,000%. We're definitely being influenced by that. Did I know that there's a horror version of Peter Pan coming out? Yes, I'm very aware of the Pooh-verse and all that stuff that's coming out. And personally, because I don't mind sharing my opinion about stuff online, I think it's all trash. I think that there are bad ideas. I think that they are cash grabs. I think that people are just going after stuff that is in, what's the word? It becomes public domain. So good for you. You came up with a public domain. You're ruining, some childhood thing. I think the films are made in bad taste. I think they're poorly written, poorly made, and they're just sucking up space for other films that could be getting more attention, like Rebel Ridge and Strange Darling and Cuckoo. And what else just came out recently? The Substance. In fact, I got my mini Fangoria that came in yesterday for The Substance, so I'm really looking forward to checking that out. Which I believe it just hit. The theaters today. So if The Substance is playing around you, it's supposed to be like super crazy. I'm hoping to check that out pretty soon. Let me see. got another choice. So if you back the Legacy Blu-ray, you'll get all of them in separate Blu-rays or all fall. No. So if you get a Legacy Blu-ray, you're going to get the option to select one of them. So the Legacy Blu-rays give you an option of, if you wanted to get Never Hike Alone 2, instead of coming up with 4 different perks, it's just one. And so the Legacy Blu-ray for $30, you're not getting 4 movies. You know what I mean? Like, we got to reprint some of them. There's stuff kind of going on there. But you're going to get one. If you want to collect the entire series, which means you're going to get, Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, the Ghost Cut, Never Hike Alone 2, and the Final Cut, you want to get the Camp Collector perk. And that's going to give you all 5 Blu-rays for $150, which is a discounted price when you add it all up and all that fun stuff. That is the best thing to do. And then you can still add on from there. And I think one other thing I wanted to go on tonight was just to further explain the concept of an add-on, which let me do another present, share screen, Final Cut campaign. So as you can see here, I'm in rewards. So let's say I want to pledge $30. Boom. Pledge $30, continue. And all I'm getting is a virtual camper. But below, as you can see, oh, you know what? I wanted to add a Legacy Blu-ray, but you know what? I can add all 4. Oh, you know what? I wanted to add a poster, and I want a pin, and I want a t-shirt, and I want a VHS. I don't know why there's 2 VHSs. I need to fix that. And I want a sweatshirt. So now you see that you're kind of bundling up. So that's the reason why you want to really pay attention here. And if you go down, boop, 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 there's the camper pack. So there's a survival pack where you can get all of these things for $150. Same thing with the Camp Collector. You can get all of this stuff. So now let's say that's what you want. What did it do? You guys saw me select it, right? Hang on, let me go back to it. So there's that. So there, everything's in there. Boom. So now we go to Camp Collector. Now you can still do the same thing. So you automatically get the other credit. You can add a Ghost in the Fog special credit. You can get a Ghost Jason Pin special credit. And you can add all these different things to your ad. And what's nice is that obviously, we can talk about this in a second. But remember, if you make your pledge isn't taken out of your the pledge is not taken out of your bank account right away like Indiegogo. What it does is just reserves your pledge, and then what you do is your account remains active throughout the entire campaign. So let's say we release something else, like we may do Ghost Hawks in a couple weeks. We may do additional VHS tapes. We may do additional posters or additional pins. Well, as your campaign remains open and as your pledge remains open, you can go back in and add and subtract things as you want. You can even upgrade your tier perks. So let's say you came in a Camp Collector, but all of a sudden you're feeling real randy and you're like, you know what? I got to do more. Like, I want more. I want my name in the credits. So you can literally change your pledge. Just go back in and you can change your pledge to a junior counselor, or you can change your pledge to a camp counselor. Now with these, just so you know, at the camp counselor tiers and the junior counselor tiers, that's when you're going to get all of the Legacy Blu-rays. I think, if I'm correct, let me see, continue. I believe this comes with, let me double check. I think it comes with all 4. I think you get all 4 Legacy Blu-rays with this. So like, we programmed it in there that when you get this, you're going to have a choice of 4, which is really, really cool. Oh no, that's the add-on. So let's see. Wow. Okay, here we go. Boom. Or 3 times Ghost Jason Pin, a Legacy Blu-ray. Or maybe get one. We're going to include the whole package for you. I'm just going to say that now. So that's basically how that works. A lot of people have asked me about, like, what do you mean it's not guaranteed? Yes, when you crowdfund, technically, when you're just talking about crowdfunds in general, no crowdfund is guaranteed. Something could happen to me. Something could happen, in the ether where, whatever bank I keep the money in blows up and all the money goes away. When you back a Kickstarter, there's a chance that project may not follow through. And I would say that for tech things, games, I've seen it happen. I backed things that haven't happened. In fact, I backed Pool Party Massacre 2 like 6-7 years ago. They're just making the film now. And when I backed it, I actually got a role in the film, and it's been so long and they had to change their budget and change a bunch of stuff that role ended up dropping out of the film. And I no longer get that perk for the film. However, Drew's a good friend of mine. I want to see him make this movie. The fact that I invested in the film and the film is still getting made is what is most important to me. So what you have to understand with when you're backing a crowdfund in general, not just Never Hike Alone, but just in general, that what you're backing is what the project is trying to accomplish. We're trying to accomplish the cut. So as long as the cut is made, technically the campaign is fulfilled. But as you know, we've run dozens of campaigns, not just our own, but we've helped, Jason Rising and Dylan's New Nightmare, Judy and Pathosis, and all these other campaigns that we've done over the years. And we always follow through no matter how long it takes. We run into roadblocks, but we sort them out and we figure them out. So even though you're going to see that warning that says, hey, there is no guarantee, we know what we're doing. We know we're going to have your Blu-rays to you. It's going to happen. It may take a little bit longer than, say, you ordering it on Amazon and it showing it up 3 days later. And I know a lot of people are expecting that because they've never crowdfunded before. But I want to assure you that it's just a long-term process. Obviously, I'm a one human being. I'm not in Los Angeles anymore. I'm separated from the rest of my team. I'm sort of working solo on this more than I've ever had to in the past. I had to move back home. I only get a chance to really work on this stuff in the weekends, or if I come home from work at night and put in 2 to 3 hours a night, which I usually do. But I'm also in the middle of rewriting a feature film. I'm also in the middle of writing another feature film. I'm also in the middle of producing 3 other films. So sometimes those projects require my work as well. But every week I'm pushing things forward as best as I can. And I'm saying no to all the new stuff that's coming in and people are kind of throwing at me. So just as a heads up, that's sort of how it works. Why does it take so long? Because I'm not working on it 5 to 6 days a week, 8 hours a day. If I was doing that, that would be awesome. I would be done already, but I don't have that option. Like, I literally had to figure out how I was going to get a new apartment. I had to move into that new apartment, and my weekends get eaten up sometimes by other projects that I'm working on. So when I do have the time, I do jump in and do it. And that's sort of how it goes. So that's why it takes so long sometimes. And that's why I'm saying next year, June, Jason's birthday next year is a good time for all of this stuff to land, taking into realistic accounts of what's going on. We're working with a new Blu-ray vendor, working out the kinks with them. They do things a little bit differently than our previous Blu-ray vendor. And I'm even vetting another Blu-ray vendor just as a backup, just in case. So I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing, because I don't just have to look at this campaign. I have to look at a few campaigns out to know that, like, okay, we're printing stuff for Never Hike Alone 2 now, but is that the same person who's going to print stuff for the final cut? And if they're not the same person, then maybe I need to go to that other person and set things up there as well. So give me a little bit of time to just figure this out and do it right and not rush it. And then I end up having to pay thousands upon thousands of more dollars just to get projects made because they don't have the Blu-ray stampers that we need and all those things. It's kind of an intricate process. But Adam has a comment. For your information, all Womp Stomp Films is phenomenal at helping you put together the pledge you want. I was helped putting together all my pledges in the last campaigns. Yes, we do that. Unfortunately, we don't have secret perks with Kickstarter. So Indiegogo allows you to do a secret perk where I can custom build you things. What I like about Kickstarter is it allows you to custom build your own cart. So I don't need to build it for you, but what I do need to do is make things available for you to download. So if there's something in the add-ons that's not there that you want, let's say you got all these other things, but you want a missing persons poster, I can add those things. If you want to do commentary track, I can add those things. They're just limited. And certain other things too. We'll get to those things as we go on, but we'll definitely kind of jump to that there. Robert, thank you very much. Every Womp Stomp product is quality release and well worth waiting for. Exactly. We're trying to get the best value out of this. We don't want you to get cheap. Like, I've just been a part of campaigns where I get a shirt. It's a Gildan shirt. It's itchy. I never wear it. I get a Blu-ray. It's the lowest quality Blu-ray that you can get. The cases are cheap. The printing is cheap. The digital files are cheap, and everything looks like shit. Like, that's the last thing I want. I don't want you to invest all this money and then get something back that's not worth your time. So that's why I'm putting in the time to make sure that it's there. Yes, definitely taking my time on waiting, though I can't count how many times my mom has said, "Where's my Crystal Lake sign?" Yes, in fact, I got her email the other day, and I just saw your Crystal Lake sign the other day. And Jacob, what I want to let you know is you're not just getting any Camp Crystal Lake sign. You're getting the actual cracked Crystal Lake sign that Tom stepped on at the opening of Never Hike Alone 2 when we pan up and we reveal Camp Crystal Lake for the first time in the movie. That's the one you're getting. So congratulations on that. And those are the types of things that like I think that are worth waiting for, because we're putting all those things together. But I got to ship that out. I got to box it. Right now, everything is literally on a second floor of a warehouse where I got it all packed away nice and neat, where it won't get rained on, where it won't get damaged, and it's all nice and safe. And I don't get up there and mess with that stuff until it's time to take it down and start shipping it, which we're going to do pretty soon. Let me see. Happy to answer your question, Gap. Let me see. Boop, 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 boop. Any flashbacks in the final cut? Nothing new as far as like the flashbacks will probably be in the final cut because they're a part of Never Hike Alone 2. The one interesting one to weave in is going to be Andrew's or Kyle's first vision of where he gets his head crushed on the side of the lake, because we're going to do a different connection there. That's the hardest one to do right now, but we'll figure that out. Let me see. Oh, I just hit that hour mark. Ooh, that's lovely. Let's see. One other thing too, while I'm here, I want to check how the final cut is going. How are we doing on pledges? We're at 200. Oh, hey, we just crossed $26,000. That's great. So thank you everybody tonight. If you ended up backing tonight in this chat, that is awesome. We just crossed $26,000. From week to week. We launched last Friday morning at 12 a.m. and now going into 9 p.m. Just a week later, we're already 50% there. Another cool fact, the first Never Hike Alone campaign, I believe, had 278 backers and only raised $19,000. So we're at 276 in just a week. We have 41 days left to go. Again, 37 people that are in this chat right now, please take the link that is in the description of this video, share that around social media this weekend, next week, share it randomly. Just tell people, hey, I love Friday the 13th. I love what the Womp Stomp guys are doing with Never Hike Alone. Please support this. If you've never heard about this, check out their films on their YouTube. Let's get that going. And, let's just start getting more and more fans introduced to this. I talked to Tom last week, Tom Matthews, and he's like, man, I can't tell you how many people come up to me and say they never heard of Never Hike Alone before. It's kind of odd that we've been around and so many people know about us, but there are so many more people who don't know about us yet. So you could literally open up the door for more people to see what we're doing, to spread the word, to spread the love of Friday the 13th and the fans taking over the series. Allie, I know you share it every day. You're the best. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about anyone else who hasn't shared it yet or who hasn't thought about sharing it. Word of mouth is such a huge thing, and anyone who can help us out with that will be great. Over the next week, let's try to get, my goal for the next week is to get at least to between 70 and 75% by next Friday, which will be a huge push for us. That puts us in a great position to get to our goal by the beginning of October, and then march that sucker all the way to $100,000 so we can get Ghosts in the Fog going. Some cool things are going to be coming up with Ghosts in the Fog. We're working on some animation tests right now. They're going to show you vast improvements from the teaser that we showed you last year. So the teaser was the trailer to this video, and I think will remain the teaser to this video for a while, or maybe not anymore now that we've gone live, but so to speak, there were certain things that, we did as quickly as we could to get that up so people could see it. We've refined the characters. We've refined the look. I'm going to work on a few animation tests. That we're working on some environment tests, some character walking tests, and we're going to be working on some brand new art for that as well that will become available, some posters, some pins, things like that. Let me see. What's this? You're going to do a tribute like James Sweet did for his reimagining for the part 2 campfire scene. I don't have any plans for that, but yeah, if you haven't checked out, I don't want to scare anyone. James Sweet released on the Red Crow Films YouTube channel this cool homage to Friday the 13th Part 2, where he basically does the Paul Holt speech from Part 2, which is like the greatest, campfire speech of all time. He recreates it with a little bit of a twist at the end, and there's a lot of cameos from the people of the Jason Rising team, so definitely check that out. Let me see. Moy Tunes is here from Mako Animation. Moy is one of the people who is making. Actually, I got to do this. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. Moy is one of the people working on the animation for Never Hike Alone, the Ghost in the Fog. So definitely say what's up to him. Follow him and Mako Animation online if you have not already. Well, thank you, Crates of Fire or Crates. crates of Junior. And an evening with Womp Stomp Films is always a relief to work. I just got off a porno set and had to fight with another dude buck naked. Our fight was like Kyle fighting Jason and Never Hike Alone. Well, good Lord. Well, here's a sip of wine to you. Oh my God. That is quite a Friday night. Let me tell you that I thought I was having a tough day, not getting enough sleep. Yeah, I didn't go to bed till like 3 a.m. and I was up at 8 for my thing. Hopefully we see Jason break some legs. You know, unfortunately, no legs are broken in the midst of Ghost in the Fog, but we're going to add that in there. And I still want to make the 2009 remake thing with you too as well. Anyway, I believe I'm running out of steam. It's been a wonderful, wonderful Friday spending with you. It's good to be back. Like I said, I hope you all had a great Friday the 13th last week. It was good seeing Katie, and it was good seeing, Jesus Christ, I'm having like a brain fart. Good Lord. It's good seeing Katie and Anthony out there. Sorry, I just got like, I was literally, my brain was just like skipping. Good seeing Katie and Anthony there and everyone else who showed up in Colorado. If you happen to see the film at Horror Hound Film Festival or Crypticon Minneapolis or Undead Film Festival, or if you saw it in in Kentucky, no, not Kentucky, West Virginia, Taylor County, played everywhere last week. Got a lot of great reception, got a lot of new fans, saw some new comments on the stuff. Definitely check that out. Oh, one other request. As you probably know, Never Hike Alone 2 just got tagged as a mature film. So we got our age restriction finally, which came at the hands of Terrifier fans because they didn't like that I don't want Damien Leone to direct the next movie. So if you see Terrifier fans talking shit about Never Hike Alone, or anyone just trying to spread dumb shit about me like I'm some dickhead who is a hater, no, I just want what's best for the Friday the 13th franchise. And I don't think that the director of Terrifier is the best choice for that. That's all that I'm saying. This is the tone that I'm saying it in. I'm not yelling at anyone. I'm not being a dick. I'm just being like, this is what I want. But anyway, we're age restricted now. But that video that you can download on Vimeo, if you have the digital rewards, what I'm going to be doing in the next week or two is taking that into edit. I'm going to try and just blur out some of the images that I think are what are causing the mature rating. And we're going to repost Never Hike Alone 2 so the kids can watch it and still get into it, and it can still sort of stream and make some shipping money for us. So can we punch them? I don't advocate violence, but yeah, I would say that there's a specific type of fan out there that they're basically just the edgelord trolls of the horror world right now. And no matter what you say or do, you can't say anything about that or else they're going to come after you, which is pretty shitty. And that's what I said. Mitch said Rumble is my friend. I still haven't checked it out, but I am going to put it over there and hopefully get that stuff. But yeah, man, like I don't mean anything personal. I'm just sharing my opinion on stuff. I see people share their opinions all the time who lecture me about sharing my opinion and then go off and share their own opinions about stuff and make fun of other people's projects. So it's just a hypocritical catch-22 and all of this stuff. And it just pisses me off sometimes. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'm not a real negative dude. I'm actually a really positive guy who says lots of fun stuff all the time. Just so happens that my negative stuff is the only stuff that takes off for some reason. And if you need to get attention, I guess you need to get attention. You got to do it some way. But maybe one day social media will change, but I don't think anytime soon. Jordan went to Blairstown with his girlfriend on Friday the 13th. Well, guess what, Jordan? I hope you guys both broke your legs all over the town. No, I hope you really had a good time. Anyway, I hope everyone has a great rest of your Friday evenings. I am definitely hitting a wall right now and just talking in circles. So my bad. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like this video, check out the Never Hike Alone, the Final Cut Kickstarter campaign. If you're a backer of Never Hike Alone 2, check your email, check the updates for new updates and a new download of Never Hike Alone 2 with fixed credits. That's in there. There's also 2 music fixes. If you can find them, I'll send you a free pin. And everything else, there should be a button like YouTube it has if they want to restrict it or not. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, the whole process of trying to get it unrestricted was so stupid. And they just jerked my chain around for like a day and a half when they weren't going to change anything. And it's just so crazy because there are other things on our channel that have more violence and more stuff in them that haven't gotten flagged. Like the Ghost Cut is age restricted, but Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow aren't. which makes no sense because they're both the same film. And Disappear is not age restricted either. I don't understand how YouTube works, but maybe I do have to get off of Rumble. Remember, the link is in the description. Obviously, Undead is posting it in the chat. But until next time, my friends, let me get some music going because I love this little theme. And if you don't know what this is an actual NES Friday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, NES Friday the 13th style game that we're going to call Never Hike Alone. It's going to be called The Ghost, and there's going to be the hiker, and there's going to be other characters, and it's going to be really cool, and it's going to play just like the old NES video game with different style of with a different lore. We're going to model it off something completely original so we can put it on Steam and make our own game with it, which was sort of the inspiration behind tonight's logo. I was like throwing something together. I found that logo again, and I was like, that's great. Jason will not look like that in the game. He will look like something completely different, but it's going to be really cool, and I think you're all going to love it. But we'll talk about that more on a future stream, and when I have more updates on that as well. So until then, I hope everyone has a great weekend, and until next time, I will see you